Hey, good morning, everyone there. Good evening, good morning, good day. My name is Vignesh. I work for Core Technologies as a senior consultant, and I hold 10 years of experience into logistics, covering MMSD and PS, PP, and most of the other logistics module. And also, we are across S4 HANA, S4 migrations, and conversions as well. And so before I start the slide, I hope you can see the screen and also you can hear my voice. So today's webinar presentation is all about what is the simplification happen in logistics and also the business partners in S4 especially. So we'll walk through on each. So we have agenda or session of S4 conversion, which is a general S4 conversion approach. And according to business partner, so we can see the highlights, and also we can see how the business partner conversion being approached, and the challenges we faced in the previous projects, so which we can share to you guys. So a typical S4 conversion starts as like a greenfield, but SAP called as brownfield. But conversion starts from preparation and end with delivery. So let me walk through a simulation. So we have a S4 system in the target environment, which has the S4 HANA database as well as S4 Fiori being installed. So this is our target environment to go for a project kind of thing. So what is the source system we have is probably a ECC. So we have to consider all these four areas, especially. We have many, but the four areas are more important to convert for S4. So basically, it is SAP GUI, it's interface, and this is going to be transformed to SAP GUI, and also SAP Fiori will be added. And we have database core, which is probably a non HANA database, whereas in S4 it's going to be a HANA database. And apart from that, we have other SAP box. We can call it as SCM, SRM, CRM, other boxes, which also to be integrated with the S4 system. And so we have interfaces as well with the third-party system or with the workflow. So those also need to be considered as an ECC environment, which has to be connected to S4 system. So basically, the project we call it as a methodology. It starts by we call it as simplification identifications, and also the SUM staging. The SUM is nothing but software update manager, so which SAP typically calls as a tool to convert the ECC system to S4. So we have a staging based on the ECC environment. So we will implement all the nodes which SAP has provided. So based on that, we will do a pre-check for the FI, for logistics, and also for basis. So basically, they will check all their belongings of all the objects, and which has a list of objects to be converted for S4. So, and we have a maintenance planner. Basically, the maintenance planner is the tool. So where you can utilize the S4 system to check for any new add-ons or any new package to be added, and also the stock configurations to be done. So those to be considered as the maintenance planner, and also landscape verifications and updates. And we have a custom code. So since we are using ECC system, and apart from that, we have a customs code into the ECC. So we have a change in HANA data structure, table structure, and fields. So those has to be considered as a custom code check. So basically, the technical consultant will run the custom code analyzer check program, and it will result out all the custom codes which has to be converted to S4 system. And so considering all these steps, so we have end up with SUM, which is system upgrade manager. So basically, system upgrade manager will check all the preceding steps where pre-checks, maintenance planner, and custom codes has been turned to green for doing the sum up and down. So basically, what it happens in the sum. So a system conversion, it has three tasks mainly: database migration, where if source system is based on non-S4 non-HANA database, and it will be migrated to the database which is connected to S4 HANA database. And we have another is software update. So basically, it provides new applications and new tools as part of new data module in S4 by providing new software components like S4 code, and by updating the existing software components, right? So, and apart from that, we have data conversion. Data conversion basically converts all the table content to a new data model. So it considers all the master data, transaction data, and other related data. And once this completes, so we have once sum down is complete, we have a post migration activity where the post configuration will be done from FI, logistics, non-finance basically, and also a basis. So the post configuration is where you can ask the system is being converted to S4. And we have another, which is testing. We will give the system to the power users, to the users, to do the testing in S4, because we have a lot of new changes and function change, and also added features being introduced in S4. So those has to be tested by the users and power users. And so all consider this, we have data reconciliations. So basically, ECC has a data where we have all the MSEG, BSEG, and BKPF, and also other tables, so which is going to be obsolete, and it has to be transformed to a new tables. So basically, we have to consider a strategy called data reconciliation. So we have to pull the data from ECC, and also we have to pull the data from target environment S4 after the conversion is complete, and we have to compare the data between the ECC and the S4. So we have a tool as KTern. KTern is the internal tool which was built by our internal team. So KTern is the tool. It's manage all their data validation, data reconciliation by itself. So rather we can pull the data as a stack file, as a stack or an Excel format. So KTern will take care of the ECC environment data and will check the S4 data, and it will compare, and it will show the result. What is the changes, or is there any discrepancies in the data? So it will show up all the changes, and also you can do you can remap the data if you want. I will talk more about KTern in the end of the slide. So as logistics perspective, which means non-finance, so we have a consideration of these many area being affected with the S4. So it may be a new functionality, it may be a functional change, or it may be obsolete in S4. So these are one among very few I just mentioned here. So basically in master data, we have biggest changes is business partner. And also, as you all know, material master field has been changed to 18 to 40 characters. And also we have many more in other areas in sales and distribution, where the credit management, it belongs to now as FSCM. And in procurement, as you know, the simplified pricing data model has been changed in procurement aspects. And the most important and also most awaited features in S4 is EWM being integrated with the S4 system. So you don't need to have a separate SAP box to have a EWM, and also TM module, transportation management, also being integrated with the S4 system. And in production, mainly we were waiting for MRP live, where we can do a planning and we can do execution all in the single transaction, which is also happens in the on the RAM memory. It will be much faster. So these are the very few areas being affected in S4, and we're gonna see more about business partner in the moving. And maybe it could be an individual person, or it could be a tenant or employee and contact persons, an organization like your customers, vendors, and also a plant which will be treated as as business partner. So plant basically, if you have a process like STO, so basically you treat a plant as a vendor and also customer. So those also has to be considered as a BP, business partner, in S4. And also a group of organization. So and also which in which the company has a business interest, and also the employee also created as a business partner for managing their internal business activities. So as I said, it's a single point of entry of creating, editing, and display the master data of business partner. Basically, it holds the maximum effort of managing the master data, and it basically contains all the names, address, bank information, etc., as well as the role specific informations that we'll talk about in the next slide. And SAP Business Partner, it doesn't belong to any of the specific modules like SD, MM, FI. So it's basically a cross application function where it integrates with all the SAP modules like OTC and order to cash, so procure to pay, and other FI modules as well. So, but basically, whereas customers and suppliers masters were widely used in most of the business process and then also SAP. And talking about grouping, so in business partner, so we have to identify the business partner by the business partner ID. So where it holds all the number range, the grouping holds the number range, and also it defines each informations about the business partner, and also it can be created as a different grouping. So basically, it is what kind of business partner you're going to create, and also it has to determine the number ranges to be used as a business partner the time of creation. Basically, in ECC, we have a vendor and customer number range, right? So whereas in S4, and especially to BP, we have another new number range which is called BP ID. So BP ID is the highest hierarchy level, and next to that we have a customer number range and vendor number range into it. So basically, all the vendor number range and customer number range all sits in BP number. So in business point of view, BP ID is the only contact highlight with all the business process. Whereas still we are having the same functionality of vendor numbers and customer numbers based on the groups, account groups. So it's follows the same, but all sits on the BP transactions. And talking about business partner roles, so we have a specific way to identify the business, that we can determine the subset of all the data available to the informations. I just highlighted the very few business roles here. We have more on that, but just highlighted very few. So basically, the customer, if you want to extend the customer, so basically we have two roles, which is for company code specific and also sales area specific. Say example, if you want to extend a business partner to only company code, then you have to use FLCU00. And if you want to extend only for the sales area, then it's going to be 01. But basically, we used to extend to both the transactions, which is basically we use XD and FD, right? So those roles determines the company code information and also sales area information. Likewise, we have for vendor, we have specific roles to company code and specific roles to business purchasing organizations. And also we have a specific roles for employee, because employee in business partner will be treated as a business contact person. So where he can act as a sales contact person, also he can act as buyer for the internal activities and as well for the external parties. So he can act as a of in and around of all the business. And mainly we have a plant can be created as a business partner where we can assign the vendors and customers to the plant, and we can do the changes in single shot where it can replicate to both vendor and customer as well. Whereas in our traditional ERP, we have a customer and vendor as different objects, right? So basically, we have a general and finance and sales, and also we have a separate transactions called as XD, XK, and XD01, 02, 03. So those became an absolute, and those has been captured as a roles in S4. For creating these objects, we need a different transaction code, which is BP. So whereas we were using XD, FD, or XVD, like vendor, we have XK, FK, and the MK01. So those is not required as of now for S4, because even if users try to enter the transaction in S4, system is smart enough to convert. I mean, can transform to BP transactions. So it will directly take you to the BP transactions. And in S4, both customers and vendors are treated as a business partner, as I said. Like the same way, we can also create a business partner for banks, where we can hold the treasury management modules. So we can use the number of functionalities in business partners. So as like in our traditional ECC system, specific to business, specific to transactions like gender information, sales informations, and company code informations. So based on the roles we assign to the business partner, so the views, the data views will be shown in the business partner, where if you want to extend the business partner to contact persons, so the pertaining to the contact persons, all the relevant informations, relevant tab will be shown. Whereas the same contact person can be act as a ship to party for the sales. So again, the view will be extended to the pertaining to the ship to party. A single transaction where you can hold tons of information pertaining to your roles you have assigned, and each role have a different view for the business partner basically. And so we have an interesting feature in BP, which is relationship, which is a business partner relationship. So basically, you create a contact, a person contact as a BP, and you can store all the relevant informations and data pertaining to the business. And say example, if a person is assigned to a company like RMG, as I've shown here, so he can assign to a company as a purchasing manager, and he can act as a approver for POPR. And later he joins to a new company, new organization, where also this also has to consider as a business for the organization. So he joins to a new company, which is also a supplier for our organization. So where we can assign the same business partner to the new business partner of supplier. So where we can maintain the time dependent relationship with the supplier, or vice versa for the customer as well. So he can act in the two company from the time period of May 1995 to 2000, and 2000 to till 1999. As I said, so he can act as a relationship within the organization as well. So basically, you can also maintain relationship under specific categories, like he can report to CFO, HOD, head of department. So you can maintain all that will try to improve all the reporting purpose, will be used for reporting purpose, and also manage a better contact in your internal system. And also purpose of analytics, it will be much more easier. So the person can act as a buyer inside, and also he can act as a person who can report to his senior manager, where the senior manager can approve the n number of PO approvals. In S4HANA business partner module, so the same partner can be extended to both customer and as well to the vendor. So like a third party, a freelancer person can work for multiple business partner in S4. So he can act as a buyer. Also, he can act as a contact person for sales, and also he can act as a construction handlers, and also he can be a creditor as well. So we can have a number of relationship attributes as I've shown here. These are very few. He can do the functions, and he can be connected with the department, and also he can be an employee responsible for managing any employee vendor, and also he can be paid out all the expenses for the travel or for whatever the cost being occurred. So he can be act as the employee vendor. So all we have discussed, but what is the advantage of having business partner in S4? So it's a frequently asked question. So what is the need for changing vendor and customer model to BP? We have many on that, and we have limitation as well. But let's talk about the main six advantage of having BP in place. So basically, in S4 HANA, so all the customers and vendors, as I said, the plan can be acted as a vendor and customer, and also the same vendor can be acted as a written vendor, where we extend all the vendors to customer as well. So in that area, so the business partner model integrates the customer master and vendor master under the partner umbrella. So it all sits in the same BP. So that is one of main advantage. And business partner allows, so having that, so business partner allows maintenance of multiple addresses with corresponding to the address usage. So if you want to change any of the context, so it's going to affect, it's going to reflect in both vendor and customer. And the next is, so we have multiple roles. So we can as I mentioned here, multiple relationship. So in the classical transactions, one customer can be associated to only one account group, right? So but in business partner, we can assign multiple roles that can be associated to the same business partner. So we can have a number of multiple relationship to a same business partner. He can be act as a customer, he can be act as a contact person, he can be act as a plant. So we can add a number of roles to the same business partner. And the next is basically multiple roles, multiple roles. So basically, it shares all the informations, all the data in and around against the roles. So basically, it captures all the roles. It also captures all the relationship. So if the contact person act as a sales, he can act both in customer and vendor. And so next is time dependency. So the maintenance of time dependency at different sub-entries roles and address and relationship. Say example, if a customer or a vendor basically, so if you want to pay the vendor and we have to maintain the bank information, so we can keep the bank information based on the time dependency. So we can keep, say example, for till the next year, you can follow the bank details till next year, and then we can have a new set of bank data from 2018 onwards, 19 onwards, sorry. So we can schedule, or we can have a time dependent data which we can store in each role specific, and also for the bank informations and for the payment transactions. So we can have a time dependencies on that. Okay, so the next is data sharing and easier data collaboration. So basically, it maximum the data sharing and reuse of data, which lead to the easier data consolidation. So basically, the general data which is available for all the business partner assigned to the business partner assigned to the each roles. So basically, if you change the general informations, it will be affected to all other roles. So the data sharing and easier will be, and also it will be much easier to do data considerations. And the foremost important is, since BP functionality gives the advantage of using BP model for both customer relationship management, which is CRM we call it as, and also the ECC partner functions features for transactions. So the business partner module is from actually adopted from SAP CRM. So all the customer masters being created from the vice versa, from either from the CRM or from the ECC. So now, right now in S4, so it's all based on the same model, which is called as BP. So where you can create a customer, and it is going to affect in CRM module as well. So this integrates this allows for performing both the CRM and ECC system in a single platform. Okay, so this is all about the high level highlights about business partner. Let me jump into how the conversion is going to happen for business partner. So as the name implies, so business partner, so we have seen all the customers, vendors, and contact persons has to be transformed to business partner. So we have a stage where we can perform their own task and activities. So SAP has brought stages to convert the business partner. So basically, it can be in preparation phase. So where we do we implement all the S4 checks, S4 check programs, and also we'll determine what are all left out for the conversion checks. And also we can see the what is the data to be cleaned up well before we do a synchronization. And also we do a set of configurations relevant for S4, and also relevant for customer vendor integrations, because all the customers vendor account groups has to be matched with the BP configuration settings. So we have to do a separate task of CVI configurations, which is customer vendor integrations, whereas system will check for each and every account groups whether the mapping has been completed or not. So likewise, we have if any vendors or customers which is being put as flag for deletion, so which can be considered as a deletion. So we can archive those entries, and we can move only with the active vendors and suppliers. We will talk more about CVA integration in the next slide. And in the synchronization phase, where we see the simulation of how the business partner being created, so where we can see the end result well before we do a conversion process. So before the conversion process, we can able to see all the errors which has been arised in the synchronization phase itself, where we can see all the transformation, how the transformations became happens in synchronization. And also basically we call it as MDS low cockpit. So the MDS low cockpit is nothing but it transforms vendor and customer into business partner. So it's a tool which was provided by SAP, where we provide all the vendor information, vendor information, and customer information and contact persons, which has to be converted to business partner. And basically it transforms to BP master data in ECC itself. Basically we will do all this activity in the pre-conversion, not in the post-conversion or in the sub-conversion. It's going to happen only in the pre-conversion. So all this activity will be done in the ECC system itself. So if data migration is stuck, so if the migration stuck anywhere, so we have a separate transaction MDS PPO2, where we can monitor all the issues, all the change, all the defects being addressed in the MDS PPO2, where we can see the where the issue has been arised, and we can go and clear those entries and resume with the transformations. So basically, as I mentioned, we have a KTern tool where so which also being used in this phase, where KTern tool will much enough to is smart enough to see the system, to see the configurations, and also see the master data, transaction data, and also can analyze what are the errors going to arise during the synchronization phase itself. So we can perform all the cleanup, all the removing all the absolutes, or cleanup or changing the data for the business partner. So which is actually time consuming in the if you don't have a KTern in this area where we have to monitor each and every time if any new error arises. So whereas if KTern in place, KTern will check all the settings, all the configurations well before we start the preparation itself. So we can be well prepared before we start the preparations. And talking about next is conversion phase. So where the actual transformation is going to happen. So basically, we check all the pre-check of all the configurations, master data cleanup, transformation data. So it will check all the entries, and also it will find any fine tuning to be done. So we have to go back to the synchronization phase and do the changes of the data, and we have to start the sum up. So basically, the sum update will happen in ACC system where the ECC data has to be transformed to S4 system, S4 data. So after once it's complete, so we will end up with the multiple business partners pertaining to customers and vendors in the ECC system itself. And in the post processing, we can, so since we already converted in the ECC system, and the sum up and down will happen from the basis perspective. And once the sum down is completed, the system will be transformed to S4 system basically. So the S4 system, we have to do a post configurations and post activities. So where we can inform the system, okay, it has been activated to S4, and right now the BP has to be from the level of BP to customer and vendor, not like customer vendor to BP. So those setting has to be done from the level of configurations and also some master data. As I said in the previous slide, so we have a customer vendor integration, which is the most commonly used master data. And so we have a set of new models, basically data structure in the customer vendor integration. So example, if you're going to implement a fresh copy of S4 in your organization, so you don't need this customer vendor integration, because there is no going to be transformation from the customer vendor. It's going to be directly from BP. Since this session is all about conversion of ECC to S4, so this has to be considered as a part of simplification activity. So it can be segregated into 6 steps. Basically, it has a 6 main preparation tasks for customer vendor integration. So let me start with the integration of implement of pre-checks. So basically, the pre-check is a set of nodes being applied into the ECC system, which was provided by SAP. So basically we will do all the activities. We will check what is the level, what is the quantity of customers, vendor, contact persons, and if the configuration is complete. If not, SAP also provided the configuration steps to be connected for the S4 system. And also we have as I said, if we have a vendor master and customer master with the deletion flag, so those can be archived in the ECC system itself. So before you execute the transformation for all the customers and the suppliers without restriction, SAP recommends to archive the customer master and or vendor master with the deletion flag. So also the customer master with the deletion flag that also be archived must be transformed. If you still want to do if you still want a customer master and vendor master with the deletion flag to the S4 system, yes, you can go ahead. But SAP recommends, if your deletion flag is being set in ECC, you can better archive it and move only the active employees or active customers and suppliers. And the next is activate business functions. So basically, it's the, as you all know, this is the business function activation, where we do activation for the business partner specific. So for the conversion of a business partner, so we used to activate CA underscore BP underscore SOA, which is being activated by the basis perspective. This ensure the transform of contact information for the suppliers or for the customers. So you can activate the business functions only if the supplier have contact information K and BK, and if the business function is not it in the system, you can create a new business functions in the business in the customer namespace. And the next is the check and integrate of customer vendor enhancements. So before we move into S4, we in our ECC system. So in customer and vendor master, it's going to become absolute, and is going to be replaced by the business partner. So the transaction is called as BP. So because of these, all the extension specification fields or baddies being used in KNVK, KNV1 or LFBK, so LFA1, so all the tables going to be absolute. So wherever we do an enhancement in the ECC, so those has to be considered as a custom code modifier. So the specific fields or tables, if we have integrated with a third-party system or other third-party system, and those has to be converted into business partner module. And before consistent checks, we have a customization settings. As I told, we have a specific configurations required for customer vendor to be migrated to business partner. So we before the conversion of S4 HANA happens, so ensure all the settings, all the configurations are properly maintained in the relevant customization, and also custom code checks, and the mapping tables are maintained in the ECC system itself. So we have a SAP tool where it will list out all the configurations which is missing out and other activities. So you can well before you can perform the activity of consistency check, you can get all the outputs of if anything miss out in the configurations. And the final is data consistency checks. So basically, it removes and avoid inconsistency customizations and inconsistency between the customer data or supply data. So as I said, so SAP has brought a solution to convert the vendor and customer, whereas employee is not part of customer vendor integration. So this has to be done separately. So SAP already had provided a list of nodes to be converted the employee to be as business partners. So that has to be handled by separately. So as I said, I want to add one more point here. The KTern tool, what we have developed, so it can analyze and it can predict the errors in the customization settings. So it will list out all the errors in the preparation state in the step itself. So this customer vendor integration is going to happen in the preparation phase. So well before you start, so you can perform from the KTern. The KTern will check the system and it will check what are the relevant nodes to be applied for applying the fixes. So it's a tool where you can foresee the errors well before it arises. So in our previous experience of conversion, so we used to get a lot of questions regarding the data, existing data, transaction data mainly. So if you're going to transform to business partner, what going to happen for the active sales order and active purchase order? Yes, so SAP has integrated, actually it is adopted to the business partner, but it is not, the functional change is not being happened in S4. It's basically a copy, I can say it's a copy of a customer to business partner. So the same sales area, sales order can be can act as a customer rather business partner. So it again relates to the same KNA1 table, whereas the KNA1 is being linked with a cust link table, and the BUT000 is the primary table for business partner, where it integrates KNA1 and also the BUT000. And also same for the supplier perspective. So if a PO has been created, it is not completed, still you can have the same model in S4 system. So there is no change in the transaction data, or there is no impact on the transaction data. Whereas, as I told, if you have developed any reports put into KNA1, put into LFA1, those has to be considered as a change, as a custom code change in S4. So we have to map to B200 rather KNA1 or LFA1. So likewise, we have other prerequisites for conversion. So basically, this is the initial configuration we have to consider, the business partner number range. So basically, as like vendor and customer, we have a separate number range for business partner. So it acts as a highest hierarchy level, and all the customer and all the vendor will be assigned to the business partner ID. And there is a recommendation from SAP. SAP is used to recommend customer, vendor, and business partner can be have a same number range. But in our experience, we have not seen the business logic, because the same vendor can be act as a supplier and also in plant and when plant in the plant parameters. So where the customer and the supplier can be act as a plant. So in that cases, we cannot go by the SAP recommendation, but still SAP recommends to have a same number range between SAP BP and CV integrations. So likewise, we have an ECC traditional authorization for XK, XD, and also FK and other FK. So we used to provide authorization to the users based on the transaction codes in our traditional ECC system. Whereas BP is the only single transaction for all other business partner entries. So SAP has brought authorization the level of roles. So you can assign a person where he can create only the purchasing specific master data. So you can assign only the FLVN 01, the role. So we can assign the role specific for the authorization objects. So this is the broad explanation about how the authorization object works. As I said, so BP is the single level of transactions to create, to edit, to display. So so these all the T codes became absolute in S4. So as I said in earlier slide, so still user can enter the T code, but system is smart enough to transform to BP transactions. So it directly takes to your BP transactions, but still these tables and these T codes being absolute in S4 system. So this is for just for information. So all the slides we have seen the previous, so you can be seen in any of the slides in your Google or in LinkedIn. So those are the common findings we can see in the global social media, right? So basically, what's the challenge in having business partner in S4? So that comes a place where, based on the experience we have in the previous conversion projects, and also we have brought a lot of informations pertaining to the business partners, pertaining to the other areas, MRPs and FICO. So let me talk about a business partner specific challenges we have faced in the previous projects. So I can segregate into two level, like pre-migrations and post-migration challenges. So let me go through a few from here, because this is only a few among many issues we have faced in BP conversion alone. So example, in ECC, in vendor and customer, we can maintain the email, telephone, fax, and phones, and etc. in the format of any we can maintain in any format. Whereas if it is going to be a BP, then we have to be stick to the actual email format and actual telephone format and fax informations. So if not, this is going to affect in the conversion time. So you have to do a manual activity. You have to put your people to do a changes in the manual as manually of all the master data being affected. Likewise, we have bank employees, so employee banks. So employee banks will not match to the LFBK. So in ECC, we used to maintain all the bank informations in the XK or XD01. So that basically stores in LFBK and VBBK. So, but the employee banks, especially the employee related banks, vendors, will not be useful in S4. So you have to be considered as you have to maintain all the bank information from the employee perspective, from the HR mini master. And also we have a challenges in creating the employee BP, which is employee vendor. So where we have a lot of payment types will not be available in the LFBK. So where we come up with a new idea where to create a new payment transactions, payment types, well before we start the conversion. And among all these, so we have a set of 100 plus issues being addressed in BP in the previous conversions. So what we have come up with a new idea for the upcoming projects we're going to be forward. So all these informations, all the issues being addressed in KTern tool. KTern tool is the, as I told you, the KTern tool will analyze and will check all the reports. So basically we indulge all the issues, defects, and well before we start the project. So basically the KTern tool will check all the informations of the issues we faced in the BP, and also I'm just saying in BP, but as well for FICO and other modules as well. So it has a smart enough to show all the information before you start the sandbox conversion itself. So during the sandbox conversion, you can run the KTern tool and it will show all the result pertaining to BP, pertaining to FICO and other areas. So where you can act well before you start the project, well before you start the conversion. And it basically it removes all the time consuming during the conversion phase. And also we have post migration. So after we migrate it to S4, we provide the system to the users, and they do the actual activities in S4 system. And they have faced a lot of showstopper in their business. Basically, the return vendor cannot be created into the sales organization, and also the tax justification cannot be reflected in the BP. So we basically we raise to SAP, and SAP will provide some notes to apply that to apply the fixes. So likewise, we have many and many. So I just highlighted only relevant to most important issues. Let me jump into a statistical view where this is the typical defects we used to get from the conversion projects. So say example, the total defects we are used to get is 1,000 plus. So and pertaining to FICO, so we used to get around 400 plus, and FI and non-FI, which is basically logistics. So we used to get 420, and others basis 80. Okay, you can ask me how we're gonna resolve these 420 issues in logistics area. Yes, so this has to be this is rough calculation where we have seen the previous project. So around from the 420 we have raised to SAP, and SAP brought a solution by applying the nodes, by manual fixes, or by the automatic fixes by the SAP node. So those issues has been, so this example 2 issues has been understood by SAP itself. And apart from that, so by the consultant, we have resolved the issue by applying the any body changes or mappy changes or any other configurations. Those has been addressed by consultant by us. And we have on other corrections is manual corrections, basically the master data changes. So basically the master data has to be maintained in such a way BP should work. So those has been considered as manual corrections. Okay, so the reason I'm showing this slide is basically the addressing by SAP. So SAP will provide SAP nodes in the form of SAP S note. So in the KTern tool, what I told you, so these issues also being addressed in the KTern tool, where the note has been uh, indulged to a KTern, and you can see the result for the specific defects. So you can if you have any defects, so SAP KTern will show you all the notes to be applied to fix the notes. So rather than you raise to SAP and getting the fixes, and it takes time. So a KTern tool will smart enough to show the list of nodes to be applied to fix the errors. Yeah, so as I told, so these are the KTern tools. Main area we are focusing in KTern. Basically, KTern tool is it's like an accelerator for conversion projects. Basically, it doesn't going to convert the system. It's going to only accelerate. So we have we have put a lot of effort and our time to build this KTern. In the area of I have shown here roadmaps, impact analysis, effort estimations, and also you can conduct the training. So you can have your test cases in the KTern where users can go log into the KTern system and can check the training hubs. So they can do the training on their own on their whenever they want, and also custom code management. So basically, we have a custom code analyzer program provided by SAP, and those has been enhanced in the KTern, where you can see the affected areas and affected process, and the process going to affect the testing environment. So and also we have we can from the KTern we can see the whatever areas going to affect for licensing and also for auditing. So basically it will check if because the commodity code is going to become a licensing partner. So SAP KTern, I mean KTern will smart enough to show you what are all license to be purchased if you are going to convert for S4. And also it act as a project management tool where you can add all the SMEs, all the users, test users and project peoples, and you can assign, you can schedule all the timelines, all the planners well in KTern tool itself. And also after the conversion completes, you can do issue trackings, and you can manage all your issues, defects in the KTern tool itself. As I said, so since KTern has a capability to indulge all the test cases, so all the business process also can be fed to the KTern tools, where you can see the where the users can see the actual KTern, actual business UAT scripts. So to conduct any UATs and do a perform of testings, so they can directly go to the KTern and they can see all the trainings and UAT scripts. Yeah, so and these are the benefits of having KTern in a place. So as I told you, we were put all the existing past experience into the KTern. So the KTern will check the system well before we start the project. So it will do a simplification list. It will show all the simplifications to be conducted for the project for the organizations, and also it will show up what are all impacts going to be affected in S4, and also it will show up what are all things to be changed well before you start the project. So this is the typical methodology of SAP, where we do the discover, we will do all the strategy, we will make a plan, and we will prepare all the cutover activities. So we can assign all the peoples, we can assign all the SMEs, and to perform the test cases, to perform the trainings. And also we can have as is and fit gap, so as is and to be. So we can analyze all the fit gap analysis from the KTern tool itself. And so the realization phase, where we do an actual conversion, actual transformation from ECC to S4. And once it's deployed, so we have a testing environment where do a testing like sandbox, development, QA, and production. So we can have our own way of infrastructure testings, and we can perform the UAT testings in the perspective areas. And so we can monitor the final run, where we can do a continuous check of any defects being raised from the S4, or it can be addressed by S4, SAP, and it can be monitored from the KTern tool itself. So this is the typical tool where we put all the our consultant help, and so it's going to be a advanced version of Solman, and also it's going to accelerate your conversion project as well. So that's going to be end of the webinar. So I'll open the forum for any questions or any queries you have raised. Okay, I got a question from Ahmad. So what is going to happen if ECC going to if XK transactions absolute and also the LFA1 became absolute? As I told, we are SAP S4 is going to merely a copy of ECC of all the business part of all the customer and vendor. So basically, it's not going to convert. It's basically going to merely a copy of customer vendor. So wherever, I mean, what the business you've been using for customer vendor, it's going to be the same in S4. Whereas we have an additional feature is BP. It's going to sit in the BP level. That's it. I hope I can answer the question. So I've got another question from Mr. Ganesh. So may I know the volume of migration S4 can take from ECC? Okay. In our previous project, so we had around 0.1 million of records, which has total of business partner. So basically, all the customers, all the vendors, and all the contact persons. So those has to be converted to BP. So we had around 1 lakh, which is almost 0.1 million. It takes around because all the conversion is going to happen in a pre-conversion phase. So basically, it takes around 16 hours to convert all the vendor and customer into BP. So there is a question from Rufus. Is there any tool to automatically change the old table names in custom code with the new S4HANA tables? Yeah, so if we talk about tables, so basically this will be handled by technical persons, where the custom code analyzer program will show up what are all tables going to be absolute and what are all tables going to be replaced. So, and it will be handled by the technical consultant, where if the table is going to be affected in reports or in forms or any other third-party integrations or IDOC, so those has to be considered as a custom code check, and the technical persons can perform the activities to transform to S4 model. So I've got another question from Vardharachar. So how much time migration generally take for migrating, and any time term rule statics is there or any tool? Yeah, thanks for the question. As I told you, SAP also have a tool. As I told you, it's a software update manager, where all the business part, where all the customers, vendors, connect persons to be migrated to S4 as a business partner. Back to your question, yeah, we do have a KTern tool where the tool can indulge with the system, with the SAP system, and it can act as a virtual person, and it can perform the conversion of all the customers, vendors into business partner. So I hope I can see another question as well from Chandra. So what is the approximate timeline to migrate ECC HP to S4 with a company of 600 users? Chandra, I cannot give you the exact figure of period, because we don't simply seeing the users level. We used to see a lot of parameters, like database level. You have to see any licensing being add on to that, or any packages to be implemented. So we have a simplification check. The KTern tool will before we license to a S4. So KTern tool can judge and can tell us what's the timeline going to be happen for the organization. So it has a lot of parameters. So I hope you can understand. I can see, I think I have explained to all the questions. Okay, so we can close the session. So before I close, I will pass the I will share you the recording session, and also I will share you the PPT what I have gone through. So probably you can talk to our you can send any queries if you have any queries or any other business to be in touch with us. So you can raise to you can send a mail to the Akhilesh, where he can act as a as a marketing person. So thank you guys. Thanks for your time. I hope you can you enjoy the slide and also the webinar. Thank you.